Good evening, everyone. We left our heroes on page 156. Greg's search finally yielded some results, and the fingerprint analysis told them that the accomplice was a Mr. Juan Carlos, who worked at a factory. He serviced machinery that manufactured watches and compasses. Among his duties was servicing machines that applied waterproofing material that sprayed not only the watch itself but also the straps, which required a specific formula. Greg had long since taken Amber and Kyle home with him, and Sarah had gone to assist, but Kerry, Justin, and Nikki were still in the crime lab. Kerry had taken a break when she remembered that her children still didn't have their things. She had gone to her house to get their overnight necessities, hurried to Justin's house, dropped them off, and gotten back all in 45 minutes. "This confirms it," Nikki said, looking at a microscope. "This fiber we found has waterproofing material on it. It doesn't match the shirt in Lorenz's condo, but it matches the waterproofing material that factory workers in his plant are exposed to. The fingerprint places Carlos in the car, and the waterproofing material places him in the house." Kerry nodded. "Excellent," she said, looking in the microscope to see for herself. "The shirt had Connor's blood on it, though, meaning Mr. Lorenz was in his condo in the past 8 hours. "The boots were probably his then," Justin said. "I'll have police start looking for him." "Thank you," Kerry said. Justin walked toward the computer to make the call. "Notify them to look for Carlos, too," she said. Justin acknowledged. Kerry looked at Nikki as she yawned. "Nikki, you can head on home." "No, I've got nowhere to be. I'll stay and help you." "I'm just going to be doing follow-up work until we get a lead on Lorenz and Carlos." "I can help." "Nikki," Kerry said, her tone turning into a warning. "All right," Nikki said with a nod. "I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Did Anderson leave? He said he had something he wanted to show us?" "He left the same time Greg and Sarah did. He was probably talking about the software he's discovered the Diablo have, though. It images buildings and gives them a holographic model of everything solid in the place. It was supposed to be classified within the government and hasn't reached law enforcement agencies yet, but someone managed to get it up to the Diablo. He's updated our computers with it, and with the help of an IT person. You can check it out tomorrow. Go home, Nikki. Get some sleep and get here early tomorrow." Nikki nodded and waved as she exited the lab. When Justin was finished making the call, he walked over to Kerry and sat down at the table across from her. "Night shift will take over and call you if they get a lead." "I know. I can help them out," Kerry said, shooting him a smile. "Kerry, you've got to get some sleep. You won't be of any help to Connor if you're exhausted. Let night shift take over for now." "I need to be here for him, Justin," Kerry said to him, looking him in the eye. "By all means, go home to Kara, see how the boys are, but I need to stay here. I'll swing by sometime tonight and catch maybe a few minutes of sleep." They both knew that if Justin left, Kerry wouldn't go to sleep. She would force herself to stay awake all night. "What did Hans say?" Justin asked her, knowing Kerry had gone down to the morgue to see if her ME had an updated estimate of their time frame. Kerry really didn't want to tell him, but she realized now she had to. He needed to know simply because he deserved to know how quickly he needed to work. She should have told him earlier. "He said based on the..." She took a deep breath. "Based on the glass he was able to look at, and the amount of blood lost, and the fact that Connor probably hasn't had his wounds bandaged or been given any food or water. He said that he probably has until early tomorrow night." Justin was quiet for a moment. "Considerably shorter time," he said finally. Kerry didn't respond. "I can see why you want to stay late tonight, Kerry, but you're exhausted and you aren't going to get any work done if you don't sleep. That won't help Connor, and it won't help catch the bastards who did this to him." Justin walked over to her and put his hand on her shoulder. "And I know it isn't my place, but I think you owe your parents a call. They deserve to know what's happened. You can use my video chat in the office." Kerry seemed to consider it for a moment, her expression remaining the same. Finally, she nodded. "Okay," she said. "I'll go get my things from my office." "I'll wait for you, and I'll drive. Meet you right outside the elevator?" Kerry nodded. "Okay," she said. Justin walked to the door and looked back briefly before he exited. Kerry closed up the lab, making sure everything was secure and all files were saved. The night shift would be here shortly, and until then the guards would make sure nothing was touched. They might even run into someone from night shift as they exited the building. Kerry was about to leave when her cell phone rang. She picked it up off her belt and flipped it open. "Captain Wall," she answered. "I didn't realize you were back from vacation, sir," Kerry answered. "I got back this morning, and I heard about this mess. Lieutenant, I understand how much stress you must be under." "I'm fine," Kerry said quickly. We've got a few leads. Justin and I were just leaving to catch some sleep, and then we'll get right back on it in the morning. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, Kerry. Listen, I completely understand your need to do something productive in this case. And you have. As he spoke, Kerry's shoulders sagged. She knew what was coming. But I'm afraid I can't have you working on this case any further. Sir! Kerry, there's a huge conflict of interest here. If you should have to do something that would compromise Connor's life, or God forbid you should not find him in time, you realize the position you're putting your CSIs and detectives in? I can't allow you to leave this case. Now, you're welcome to offer your input, but I'm transferring jurisdiction. Lieutenant Tillman from Evanston will handle it. Kerry knew Tillman, and he was a good CSI, but she didn't trust anyone with this case. Sir, give me until tomorrow afternoon. If we don't find him by then, sir, then the chances of him being... She closed her eyes briefly before forcing herself to continue. Alive are slim. And then I'll hand the case to Lieutenant Tillman. In truth, she had no intention of handing it over to Tillman. If they killed Connor, she wanted to be the one to either blow their heads off or haul them in to face life imprisonment or the death penalty. If Night Shift gets any leads, a location, a ransom note, a tip-off, anything at all, I'll have you called right away. And like I said, you're more than welcome to offer your input, but I don't want you leading this case. Tillman will be down tonight, and he'll meet you tomorrow morning in the crime lab. Kerry nodded. She would find a way around this anyway. She was determined to. She'd be damned if she let anyone else but herself handle this case. Yes, sir. Thank you, Kerry. I'll be in touch. Yes, sir. Bye. Kerry flipped her phone closed and holstered it. Then she shut the light off and headed to her office to collect her jacket and bag. She met Justin in the elevator, and they headed to his car together. We'll read more tomorrow.